Defense does win championships, but can you score?
Well, you have to contribute something on the other side of the equation. And you mentioned that they don't have the athletic ability to create those own shots. This is why Jones, Deb Antonelli have the call. Enjoy.
All right, thanks a lot, Trey. This part of the Bridgeport region first round action. UConn taking on Coppin State. The first ever meeting between these two teams from University Park, Pennsylvania. As we take a look at the brackets, Virginia Tech moving on a few moments ago, defeating Missouri big time. Coppin State, UConn here. The winner meets Virginia Tech. I'm Mark Jones courtside along with Deb Antonelli. Rebecca Lobo joining us in just a few. When you look at our Star Watch, a talented backcourt player and a talented frontcourt player in UConn.
Well, we got two of the best players at this time of the season playing their best basketball for Coppin State. It's their senior back-to-back player of the year, Sherry Tucker, who leads the team in scoring, and then Ann Strother, who willed this team to the Big East Championship at 6'3". She's the go-to offensive player looking for a big game out of her tonight.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for UConn. Montgomery, a very precocious, talented freshman. Thomas, Turner, Strother, and Crockett round out the starting five. For Coppin State, Oakley, Suber, Tucker, Talia Sutton, and Tanisha Harden in the middle. And our lady in the middle, Rebecca Lobo.
Well, Mark, a lot of 15 seeds might be intimidated to play a five-time national champion, but not Coppin State. Talking to the players yesterday, they are just excited about this opportunity. Sherry Tucker told me that she has not watched UConn play at all this season except on the scout tape. She knows the Huskies by number, but none of them by name. Guys, it's hard to be a deer in the headlights when you don't even realize the headlights are there.
A good point, and Tucker out of Simon Gratz High School in Philadelphia. She's not going to be intimidated by many things, period, let alone UConn and their star-studded lineup with their McDonald's All-Americans. Off the Mel Thomas Smith. Coming back the other way, the champs of the MEAC.
Well, here's the thing about Coppin State. Last year, they were in the tournament as a 16 seed. Had to play North Carolina on their home court as the 1. This year, they come as a 15. They feel more respected, and they feel like playing Connecticut on a neutral floor gives them a chance to stay in the game.
Here's Montgomery, who's wreaking havoc defensively. She's the one that turned over Coppin State.
This is the best field goal percentage defensive team in the country is Coppin State. They've won 21 straight, so they're playing at a confident level, as Rebecca talked about.
Wilnette Crockett, meanwhile, with the rebound. This is the time of year where Wilnette Crockett usually turns up the level of her game. Thomas comes off a screen. That's going to be a foul against Barb Turner. And Coppin State with the nation's longest winning streak coming into the tournament right now as a result of the loss by UT Chattanooga. Eric Brown, their head coach, formerly worked with Fang Mitchell.
And they have not lost in the calendar year 2006 as Connecticut applies some three-quarter court pressure.
And Gino Auriemma, the choreographer of 5 national championships already, making their 18th consecutive NCAA appearance.
You know, I find it interesting. Is Connecticut coming into the tournament under the radar, Mark? They're coming in not as a defending national champion. They're coming in not as a #1 seed, but they have a chance to advance to Bridgeport, which is already sold out and play in their home state.
Yeah, they lost the regular season title to Rutgers, lost a couple times to the Scarlet Knights, but came back to win the conference tournament off the steal. And Strother was big in that conference tournament championship game, and she drove it to the bucket and earns herself a trip to the foul line. Ann Crockett, one of 4 seniors playing in their final NCAA tournament.
A great NCAA tournament experience has Strother. 20 points in that win over West Virginia in the Big East Tournament Championship to give her Big East Most Outstanding Player award. And she's clutch. You know, she knows she has to elevate her play, and she's looking to be held more accountable. She wants that role, and she relishes that this time of year.
Gino Auriemma has been willing to tell anybody that wants to listen that we go as far as Ann Strother will ultimately take us. It is all on her shoulders, and she knocks down the first 2 foul shots and the first 2 points of the game. And UConn showing a little three-quarter court trap here.
And this is the first time Connecticut has ever had to play out of the state of Connecticut in the first round of the NCAA tournament on a total neutral court. It's been that way all day here today at University Park.
And Oakley gets drawn into an offensive foul as Montgomery stepped in to take the charge. And there's a look at it. The first time in their history that they played a first-round game outside of Storrs, Connecticut. 13-2 in the first round. And we talked about the fact that Coppin State not really intimidated by UConn. That due in large part to the fact that last year in the tournament, they played North Carolina in the first round. They feel that they learned a lot from that experience, Debbie. In particular, that Coach Brown says, hey, I maybe should have let them go a little bit more. Instead, we kind of set up a little bit, run too much half court, but this time we're going to let them run, let them play a little bit more.
Well, be aggressive. Do what you do. They started out the season 1-8, and then they haven't lost in the calendar year 2006. They won back-to-back regular season titles in their league and tournament titles. And he's back-to-back Coach of the Year. Well, he certainly knows what he's doing.
Montgomery hands it off and gets it back from Crockett.
And look how aggressive Coppin State will be. They're not going to back down.
Mel Thomas a little bit strong again. She's 0 for 2 from the field, knocked out of bounds. And the ball wasn't out of bounds. Unfortunately, Suber grabbed it before it landed out. It would have been Coppin State basketball. Instead, it's Huskies ball.
Coppin State is going to make Connecticut work in the quarter court. They've got enough team speed to get back in transition, and they're going to force them to execute.
Montgomery a little bit of speed of her own. Out top, it's Coppin State with possession in Shalimar Oakley. Coppin State down 2-0. Only 2 points of the ball game so far scored by Ann Strother, one of 4 seniors leading the way for UConn. Coppin State, the number 15 seed in this, the Bridgeport region, coming in with a 21-game winning streak, which right now stands as the longest in the nation. UConn, the defending Big East Conference Tournament champs.
Neither team has a field goal. Strother's points from the free throw line.
Boy, great defense by Coppin State. 7 on the shot clock for Montgomery. And they might not get this shot off. Active hands defensively, and that's going to be a foul against Mel Thomas.
Well, 1 second on the shot clock, and that's what I'm talking about, Mark. Coppin State's going to make Connecticut work quarter court. The best field goal percentage defense in the nation. Less than 34%. Connecticut at 4th. So this could be a defensive struggle, if you will.
Coppin State with a really amazing story. They started off 1-8, and then they played a game at Delaware State. Their first conference game, won the game. It was Sutton's first game back. They won it big and then went on to rattle off 21 more in a row. Baseline jump shot off the mark. Rebound by Sharday Houston, who has checked into the ball game for UConn. Turner fouled underneath, and boy, did Keisha Soignier kick the turbo in or what?
This is when I think Connecticut changes gears, when they bring Soignier and Montgomery on the floor together. Those two can go, and they can match the athleticism that Coppin State brings to their backcourt.
Barbara Turner stepping to the free throw line. On the season has hovered right around 67–68%. UConn leading 3-0, scoring all their points from the foul line so far. Turner and Strother, 2 pivotal seniors, along with Wilnette Crockett, playing in their final NCAA tournament.
What brilliant careers they've had already. Look at Renee Montgomery. Great defense. The Big East freshman of the year, setting the tone out front for Connecticut.
Timeout on the floor. The Huskies with the lead 4-0 when we come back. Welcome everyone back to University Park, Pennsylvania. Welcome to ESPN2's telecast of the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbis. Well, both teams trying to find their right beat and rhythm right now from the field. Connecticut leading 4-0, but neither team has scored a field goal. Coppin State 6 possessions, 4 turnovers. Connecticut 6 possessions, 0 for 4 from the field with a couple of turnovers.
And that is almost perfect for Coppin State. The more they can make Connecticut struggle, the harder they can make them work, the better they'll gain confidence. Nice work inside in the high-low game.
Sharday Houston finishing at the rim.
That looked pretty easy.
That's the first field goal of the ball game, folks. Oakley out top.
There's Sherry Tucker, the player of the year in the MEAC.
She hasn't gotten many touches so far. UConn doing a nice job on her defensively. That's a tie-up. The possession arrow in favor of Coppin State.
Coming off the timeout, Gino Auriemma says, let's go right inside to our size. Sharday Houston doing a great job getting terrific position inside. The pass away from the defense. Great finish, no help.
Sutton missing underneath. And Coppin State has yet to score. Swanier now. Off to Strother. Nice feed to Houston, and Houston with her second field goal.
This is a great sign for Sharday Houston to get off to an early start offensively. She could be a dominant offensive player, not just in the game, in the entire NCAA tournament if she could turn it on.
She is one of the more perplexing players for Gino Auriemma. From outside, and a three-ball good by Rashida Suber.
That's her 56th three-point basket of the season. She's their best outside the arc.
Well, shooting it at 35%, and Oakley comes up with a steal. Here's Suber again in transition. Pull up three, straight butter. Actually, that's a long two.
Are you kidding me? No numbers and just pulls the trigger. That's what you call early offense.
Well, they do have a three up on the board, but it appeared like it was close. Houston back in a rush. Turner with the rebound and the putback. Barbara Turner doing work.
Connecticut's advantage could be their size and power on the front line, particularly with this lineup on the floor right now. Sharday Houston and Barbara Turner.
Oakley got all the way to the rim, was fouled by Houston. And Shalimar Oakley, a 76% foul shooter, member of the former member of the all-rookie team in the MEAC. Transfer from Hoffer, goes to the foul line.
Look at Suber with terrific hustle right here. Comes up with the basketball. Now watch, she's going to pull. There is nobody in transition rebounding. She just takes the quick offense. You got to love that. That's confidence right there. She just hit a three, and she comes back in transition and hits the two.
Oakley makes the free throw, and they did make it a two-pointer after all. Oakley knocks down a pair, former transfer from Hofstra. 10-7 ball game. Now you can tell by the way that Coppin State is playing, especially at the defensive end, they were not intimidated by UConn.
Well, they're mixing it up now, showing some zone.
Turner in the short corner. Oh, great execution that time. Elena Green comes in to knock down the short jumper.
Gino Auriemma told me he had 3 challenges this season, and one of them was Elena Green. Best finisher in the paint, he said. I said, really? He said, yes, short corner, low block, wherever we can get her the ball inside. She is that solid.
Outside, this is Tucker who lets it fly. That was her first decent look at the ball game. Swanier. Great hands and catch by Barbara Turner. And it's 14-7, UConn doubling up on Coppin State.
This is the speed and athletic lineup for Gino Auriemma. He goes to it early. I'm telling you, Mark, Montgomery and Swanier in the backcourt. I love the way they bring effort and energy.
That might be a duo in the backcourt that would be especially effective against Coppin State speed. And back comes Swanier. Houston out top. Turner with a quick move on the low blocks. And she got the foul called against Whitney Cunningham. Turner out of Cleveland, Ohio will go to the foul line.
That's aggressive, it's quick, can't bring the double because she makes the move on the low block to attack so aggressively.
Turner has overcome a little bit of adversity during her career, dealing with injuries. And it's been a key card for them. And for more on Turner, let's go to Rebecca.
Well, Mark, UConn's defense has been fairly consistent all season, but they've struggled when the offense has stalled. Barbara Turner told me yesterday that UConn has been working hard on offense since the end of the Big East tournament. They're getting a feel for what they want to do offensively, and players are getting a better understanding of where they need to be in the offensive sets. Barbara said the team hopes to quiet the talk, questioning their scoring capabilities in the game today.
And the putback good by Brittany Hunter. Rebecca.
Well, and Ann Strother also said the seniors had a meeting with Gino Auriemma in his office. It lasted about 4 hours, and basically the meeting was about telling Coach Auriemma, we, the seniors, we want to be held accountable. Don't give up on us. Count on us to be able to take us all the way to the Final Four. We want that responsibility. We're asking you to stick with us.
Talia Sutton, meanwhile, with the bucket at the other end for Coppin State within 8 now. It's 17-9. Hunter hands it off to Turner. Strother on the drive and kick, and she throws it away. The pass intended for Kalana Green. Lynette Crockett checks back into the ball game for Barbara Turner. And Montgomery also comes back in for Soignier. For live stats and game recaps from all rounds of every championship, go to NCAAsports.com. NCAAsports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships.
And Connecticut showing zone. They're mixing it up a little bit. That gives them size up top with Kalana Green and Ann Strother on the wings.
There's Tucker with her first field goal of the game. Sherry Tucker, the player of the year in the MIA.
Second all-time in scoring at Coppin State, and you have to know where she is if you're going to play zone.
Strother out top.
Look at the spacing, Mark. Connecticut spreads the floor. They have size at almost every position offensively.
Crockett couldn't get the handle, and now a chance for Coppin State to pull within 4 points. On the move and a nice block inside by Montgomery, who seemed to get a piece of it. Montgomery, as a freshman, for the most part of the season, has been one of the big leaders for this team. She's not a senior, but she's made a lot of timely buckets and provided great leadership. And there goes Suber again, this time coming up empty on the long jump shot.
Ann Strother told me the difference between last year and this year is Renee Montgomery. She handles the basketball. She's taken on more of a leadership role. She knows who to get the ball to and when. Signs of a good point guard and a good leader.
And Coppin State, surprisingly, can walk this one up as we approach the midway point of the first half. Coppin State riding a 21-game winning streak, which right now stands as the longest in the nation. Little high screen and roll.
Connecticut switching on that.
Couple shots at it for Sutton, no good. New shot clock.
Well, you'd like to see Tucker get some touches if you're Coppin State. She's been your leading scorer. She led the conference in scoring last year. Her instinct is to be aggressive with the basketball. Put it in her hands. There she is.
Driving on Montgomery. 10 on the shot clock still. No reset off the miss. Tucker lets it fly. Got that one to fall. And Tucker now with 4 points.
No question she's who they want to have the basketball offensively.
Sherry Tucker told me at shoot-around yesterday that, hey, we're ready to go in and put in some good work against UConn. Whitney Hunter had a point-blank look and missed. Coppin State now in the midst of a 6-0 run in just under the last 2 minutes. Now they're becoming a little bit more methodical, it seems, Debbie, on offense in the half court. Do you like that or not?
Well, they have to, because Connecticut's getting back in transition, and you can't force it like that. You throw it away.
Rashida Suber turns it over. She's been playing relatively well lately, especially at the offensive end. Right now, timeout on the floor. 4-point lead for UConn. Back to Trey in the studio.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. Checking on Ohio State.
University of Park, Pennsylvania. Coppin State pulling to within 4. The 25th anniversary this year, the NCAA Women's Championship. Time to highlight moment number 9, brought to you by Singular. Tennessee, then an up-and-coming team, took on the defending champs USC as legend-to-be looked on from the Lady Vols bench. The Final Four's most outstanding player in back-to-back years, Cheryl Miller, led the women of Troy past the Lady Vols as USC became the first team to win consecutive national titles. Great moment in women's college basketball history. The McGee twins pitching in 17 points apiece in that game.
Don't forget C. Cooper, Cynthia Cooper on that team.
A lot of big names, a lot of firepower and star power on that championship team. Brittany Hunter with the turnaround partially blocked. And Coppin State with a chance to come to within 2 right now. Tucker with a little ball fake. There's Noel with the pull-up. Came up short, but good hustle underneath on the glass. And Jennifer Martin makes it a 2-point game with 8.5 to go in the first.
Hey, this does nothing but give Coppin State confidence, Mark. They got a 2-point game with 8 minutes to play in the first half against a number 2 seed.
Mel Thomas is coming to the game. She's a shooter. She's 0 for 2 so far. Make that 0 for 3. Still wonder about the fitness level of Mel Thomas. She sprained her ankle late in the season, came back for the Big East tournament, but still doesn't seem to be 100%. Tucker out of bounds. It'll be Coppin State basketball.
Mel Thomas, the most improved player in the Big East this year. Looking for a defensive spark and a 3-point threat.
A concerned look etched across the brow of Gino Auriemma. And that's why it's a 2-point game. 2-point ball game with 7:58 to play in the first half. Coppin State hanging around, and don't forget more action tomorrow night, beginning at 7 on ESPN2. Among the games you'll see, Michigan State and Kentucky. Michigan State made a run to the Final Four last year before losing in the championship game to Baylor. And in the second half of the double dip, you'll see 4 more games, 1 of 4 games, one of them being LSU against Washington. And Debbie, I'm going to predict this, that with those 2 dunks by Candace Parker today, I think Sylvia Fowles is about ready to get into the act.
I think she might get in the action a little bit. Well, she's certainly capable of doing it.
Talented player out of Miami, a sophomore this year, helping out in the cause with Simone Augustus, the Player of the Year candidate.
How about Parker, a breakaway dunk, but then 1 out of the half-court set. Now, we've never seen that in women's basketball before.
A foul on the drive by Sharday Houston. That's the 14th foul against UConn. Coppin State with 5 team fouls so far in the half.
Right now, Connecticut's got the edge on the glass just by a couple of boards. Both teams with 6 baskets. Coppin State staying with Connecticut.
There's Noel running the point. Elamar Oakley on the bench. Here's Tucker on the wing. She's the team's leading scorer at about 13 points a game. She's got 4 so far, but Suber not shy, and she gives Coppin State a 1-point lead.
That's her 2nd triple, and she's got the hot hand, the first lead of the game for Coppin.
That is a quick trigger. Rashida Suber, and Coppin State leads with 7 minutes to go. Turner working the glass. And remember that Derek Brown coached with Fang Mitchell, okay, folks? And remember that back in 1997, Coppin State on the men's side of the ledger as a number 15 seed upset number 2 Tennessee. He has been reminding his team of that historic victory during the course of the week. They go inside. Turn around a little bit short. 4 on the shot clock, and they call a timeout. Martin was tied up, and Coppin State in the midst of an 11-0 run. With 6:29 to go in the first half, the champs out of the MEAC on a 21-game winning streak with the lead. Well, right now, Coppin State leading by 1 with 6:29 to go in the first half. And Connecticut in the midst of a big drought right now. Coppin State outscoring them 11-0 over the last 6:09.
And that has been the tendency as of late for Connecticut to struggle to score offensively, as off the timeout, Coppin State turns it over.
And for more on Coppin State, let's go to Rebecca.
Well, Mark, sticking with the theme of Coppin State not being at all intimidated in their last full timeout, Coach Brown just looked at his team and said, on defense, switch when you have to switch, stay when you want to stay. Connecticut looks a little confused right now. He said, on the offensive end, take your time, relax, be under control, and set screens.
Well, Connecticut went after it that time, and Derek Brown's team committing the foul underneath.
If you're going to make this major statement with a huge upset, you have to do the detail things, and you have to limit Connecticut's second chance opportunities. You cannot give them extra possessions. They're already struggling to score. You've got to finish the defensive stance with a rebound.
Turner knocks down the first of two as Shalimar Oakley comes back into the ball game for Tamika Noel.
You got to get every 50-50 ball, Mark. You've got to make every hustle play. The ball's on the floor. You've got to hit the deck if you're Coppin State. You've got to think we have the ability to outwork Connecticut. That's the mindset you have to bring to the game.
Their margin of error arguably a little bit smaller than UConn's. Huskies retake the lead by 1 as we approach 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Connecticut showing zone. Looking to trap on the wings, what they've done in the past.
Here's Suber again, knocks down another 3-ball. And you see the tape, the bandaging on that right hand. I'll hazard a guess that doesn't bother her right now, Debbie.
Talked to her before the game. She said, don't worry about it. I hurt my finger. It doesn't bother me one bit. She just shook it off completely like it's not a factor. And that's her 3rd triple. So obviously it isn't a factor.
Never hurts when you're shooting either. There's Montgomery. She got picked clean by Suber. A 2-on-1 with Oakley. And Coppin State has arrived in earnest and well.
Are you kidding me? No fear at all.
UConn calling a 30-second timeout.
Look how quick Suber is. A crossover by Montgomery right in front of her. Quick hands. Suber, first team all-conference, coming off of a most outstanding performance in the tournament. She was MVP of their conference tournament. She is on fire right now.
A 16-2 run in the last 7:15. And Coppin State leading by 4 points with 5:23 to go here in the first half.
Your Coach Brown, Mark, you're calling up number 22 right now, Rashida Suber. You give her the basketball until her arm feels like it's going to fall off.
Derek Brown, the architect of what's happening on the court right now, coached with Fang Mitchell on the men's team for a number of years and had a coaching change, and for a while there was no one to take the job. They met for several weeks within the athletic department, and finally the decision was made. Hey, Coach Brown was the best man for the job.
Yeah, listed as being the head coach for 7 years, but he says, let me clarify that it's really 6.5 years that I've been the head coach.
Friday Houston wheeling down low.
See, and that's where Connecticut's strength is. When they go with their big lineup, they need to go to the block with their size and punish Coppin State for their lack of size on the inside.
Oakley seems like she's settled down a little bit after a pretty shaky start early in the ballgame running the point. Here's Tucker from outside knocking down a 2-ball. Sherry Tucker, player of the year in the conference. And Coppin State leading by 4 with 4.5 minutes to go in the first. Short corner jump shot good by Barb Turner. That's what senior experience gets you.
And that's great spacing, good ball movement. Unselfish play offensively by Connecticut.
If you're Coppin State, though, Debbie, you couldn't have asked for a better start than this.
Oh, they're loving this. They're confident. They're feeling good. They're saying, hey, we can handle this.
And that's a 3-second violation against number 32, Jennifer Martin.
That goes back to what Rebecca was talking about in terms of their state of mind coming into the game, not knowing the names of the Connecticut players, not seeing them play, just knowing their numbers through the scouting report.
UConn here with a chance to tie. Swanee and Montgomery in the backcourt at the same time. That's a lineup you really like.
I love that lineup because I think it gives them explosiveness on both ends of the floor. They can defend, but they also can get Connecticut in transition and get some easy baskets.
And Houston fouled that time by Martin, who swiped at the ball. Anytime you swipe, the officials more often than not are going to call it. Time out of the floor. Derek Brown thinking about a potential upset. Back with more after this.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by Chevrolet, an American Revolution, and Powerade.
Look at the campus here on Penn State University as Coppin State surprisingly leading by 2 points with just under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Sharday Houston stepping to the free throw line for the Huskies. UConn doesn't lose that often in the tournament, Debbie.
No, they don't. They're a team that has been so good in March, and you could just sense the frustration from Junior Oriental. We've seen that look a lot this year.
Let's go courtside to Rebecca.
Well, Mark, first of all, I was just surprised at how calm Coach Oriema was in that last huddle, but he just looked at his team and said, we're going to stay in man-to-man defense, no dribble penetration, contest shooters, and then on the offensive end, we have to screen people and keep using those screens. And he looked at Sharday Houston and said, keep calling for the ball the entire possession.
Well, she has 3 of their 8 baskets, Rebecca, but only Barbara Turner is the only starter to score in the basketball game for Connecticut. She's 3 for 5. Houston is 3 for 6. Those are the 2 players that you would think right now Connecticut wants to look to score. Houston giving UConn a big boost off the bench. Suber going to take Thomas. That's going to be a jump ball, the possession arrow in favor of UConn. That time, Mel Thomas doing a nice job defensively. Well, she's doing a terrific job getting out on a 3-point shooter. Suber's already hit 3. Thomas knows that. She says she is not sticking a 3 on me. Well, I've got that assignment. Thomas hasn't been able to provide much offense for UConn. She's 0 for 3 from the field, missing on a couple of 3-point attempts. Let's see if they get Sharday Houston another touch. Strother from downtown. She knocks down to 3. And Strother making a little bit of noise. That's her first 3-pointer of the ball game. Coppin State had the lead for about 4 minutes in the first half, Mark. The lead just goes back to Connecticut. Most of their stuff coming from the edges with Suber and Tucker. Here's Oakley with the pull-up. Tipped up and Houston controlling. And with the ability to put it on the floor, Soignier now. And Thomas takes her first field goal. UConn leads by 5. That's a great push in transition. Thomas spotting up the mid-range pull-up. That's Soignier getting him out on a break quickly. UConn responding with a 9-0 run. Oakley for 3. That's going to be a foul against Coppin State. Whitney Cunningham coming over the top, whistled for the foul. And that's the 15th foul against Coppin State. Cunningham's a 6'3" freshman. She's the only true size Derek Brown has on the inside. UConn leading by 5 here in University Park, Pennsylvania. This is part of the Bridgeport Regional. Coppin State in the dark uniforms, UConn in the white. Barb Turner at the free throw line. Story of the ball game so far is Coppin State's ability to hang tough, using great shooting from Rashida Suber and Sherry Tucker, the player of the year in the MEAC conference. 7-point lead now for UConn, and Sharday Houston has given UConn a big boost off the bench with 8 points. And she is calling for the basketball. She's working without the ball on the inside, trying to gain position, doing the work before the ball comes into her, using her size and quickness. Tucker being guarded by Ann Strother, using good length against her. Shot blocked. There's Tucker and knocking down the foul line jump shot. Tucker has had some great looks. She's the leading scorer for Coppin State and the back-to-back player of the year in the MEAC. Coppin State leads the nation in field goal percentage defense. But you know what? Sharday Houston's not impressed. A 7-point lead, Houston with 10 points. This game, Debbie, reminiscent of Houston's effort against LSU earlier this season when the Huskies defeated the Tigers up at UConn. Well, Sharday Houston certainly with those 22 points and 15 boards against LSU. She's played big in some big games, but she did not score a point in the Big East tournament final. She's making up for that in the first half. Big load. Strother out top to Turner. While Turner driving to the cup. And UConn asserting itself once again, leading by 9 with under a minute to play here in the first half. Well, their work without the basketball clears out the lane. Because they continue to move, it takes weak side help away. That's back-to-back moves they've been able to make off the bounce from the high post. Giving space to operate. Tucker comes off the screen.
tied up a couple times. Oakley, and she got pinched by Mel Thomas, and there's going to be a foul called against Coppin State. And with 9 team fouls against Coppin State, UConn will shoot. Coppin State riding the nation's longest winning streak, 21 games coming into this one against UConn. Derek Brown, the head coach, in his 6th season. As part of the Bridgeport region with the 15th seed Coppin State against the number 2 seed UConn. Mel Thomas stepping to the free throw line, and what a difference a year makes for Mel Thomas. Her confidence is through the roof this year. Off the miss. Wilma Crockett missed the putback opportunity. And that foul goes against the Huskies.
And speaking to your point about Mel Thomas, last year she averaged 5 points a game. Only 6 times last year she was in double figures the whole season. Well, this year 6 times she's had 20 or more points. She's a double figure scorer. Demands some jump defense once in a while.
One of the ultimate compliments for an offensive player. 14 seconds to go in the first half. Coppin State in the dark uniforms with possession. And Noel lost the handle. 5 seconds to go. Turner getting busy. Up to Strother. It'll count. The 3 ball no good. And Barb Turner with an impressive first 20 minutes. 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists as UConn leads by 9 points. Derek Brown, though, the portrait of calm for Coppin State. Let's go to Rebecca.
Coach, with 4 minutes to go, with 4-minute timeout, Coppin State had the lead. What was the difference the last 4 minutes for your team?
Well, I just think we got a little more aggressive on the offensive end. We were just standing around. I think we got a little bit more ball movement and, you know, spread them out a little more, open some things up inside for Charday. You know, right now we're kind of like playing a little bit too quick for ourselves. But that usually happens when you haven't played in a long time like we have. So hopefully the second half will be better.
All right, thanks, Coach.
You think Rebecca's heard that a few times? 36-27 at the half, and Charday Houston with a nice job as well. Right now we're going to go join Trey Wingo and the crew for the college basketball halftime report.
All right, Mark, thanks very much.
State 36-27 as we take a look at the first half statistics. UConn with a late run upping their shooting percentage to 44%, thus the 9-point advantage. But Coppin State 3 of 5 from downtown, keeping them in the ballgame.
And you look at the free throw difference. That's the 9-point difference at the half. Connecticut doing a great job of imposing their size, their speed, and their ability to punish Coppin State on the front line.
And for more on Coppin State, let's go to Rebecca.
Mark, I talked to Coach Derek Brown, and he said, what we need to do in the second half is have better defense in the post. We're getting killed. We need to look to sag more. Offensively, he said, most of our scoring came off the cuff. I want to see more sets. I asked him if he was surprised to have the lead with 4 minutes to go. He said, no, not really. If we play better D in this second half, we will have a chance to win at the end.
And defense, Rebecca, has been their strong point during the course of the season. They lead the nation in field goal percentage defense. 10 on the shot clock. Suba off the mark that time, and their leading scorer, Sherry Tucker, chases it down.
They would love to keep Suber with the hot hand. 3 triples in the first half, 11 points to lead Coppin State at the half.
There's Shalimar Oakley out top, working against Montgomery. Quick turnout, Tucker lets it fly, got a great look over Thomas.
Great screen on the inside by Harden to free up Tucker, and a great look. That's the half-court execution Coach Brown is talking about.
The lead is 7, and Ann Strother throws it away. The pass intended for Mel Thomas. Nori Emma told Rebecca at halftime that they started running some stuff for Charday Houston and got her off a little bit offensively. It certainly helped Houston with a big first half for UConn, hitting double figures with 10 points.
And she only played 11 minutes. That's pretty good efficiency to her game.
Suber turns it over this time, and Turner on the move on the break. And Barbara Turner continues to roll now with 17 in the game. Back up to 9.
And Turner getting more shots at the free throw line than field goals, and that's a good job of taking advantage of her size and strength inside, her speed and quickness.
There's Suba. Came off the screen, missed the 3 ball. And it's one and done for Coppin State. Montgomery back the other way for UConn. Lynette Crockett steps out. Tucker with a great feed inside for Crockett. Barb Turner doing it in different ways offensively, passing as well.
Oh, nice ball fake. Occupy the defense, just bring the D a little bit closer so she can make that feed.
Oakley kicks it back out.
Gina Oriema really likes Mel Thomas in her perimeter defense. That's why she's got the Suber assignment to start the second half.
That time they call a foul on Barb Turner on the shot as Oakley drove it up over her. Oakley will go to the free throw line, shooting 76% on the season. Coppin State's got to be careful here at the start of the second half not to lose too much contact with UConn. The lead is at 11 right now.
And they can't afford to let Connecticut separate too much if they're going to have a chance to pull an upset. It's never happened. A 15 beating a 2. I'm looking for Renee Montgomery too, Mark, the second half. Montgomery did not have a field goal, and she's a player for Connecticut that has really been solid offensively. Last 5 regular season games, she was averaging 15 points. She's starting to look for her own offense more.
Roman McDonald's high school All-American, high school teammate of Alexis Hornbuckle out of St. Albans, West Virginia. And what about Hornbuckle? Cleared to play, saw some action today. That's good news for Tennessee. Strother in three-point territory, 10 on the shot clock for the Huskies. Good double team off the pick and roll. Back to Strother now. 3 on the shot clock, and they turn over UConn. It's a 4-on-1. And Oakley finishes the lead down to 8.
Defense generating possessions for them to get an easy basket. Look how quickly Coppin State can transition the other way. Good team speed.
Montgomery on the wing.
Oh,
Barb Turner and a great feed from Montgomery.
just working without the basketball, getting in the seams of that defense. Nice basket cut by Turner.
And foul against Suba. Barb Turner, as I mentioned earlier tonight, struggled at times with various injuries in her career at UConn. And actually earlier this year took the rod out of her leg from a previous injury and procedure where she had one implanted in her leg 2 years ago, actually. But looking good at just the right time of the year and playing one of her best games all season right now, in the process of, anyway, with 19 points. 10-point lead for the Huskies.
She brings great versatility to Connecticut's game plan on both sides of the ball, Mark, because she can defend inside out, multiple defenders, multiple positions, and she can score inside out.
Meanwhile, Debbie, Oakley took it right over the top of Ray Montgomery. Oakley now with 9 points on 3 of 5 from the field. Montgomery trying to get a little get back, but can't.
Oakley doing a great job right here off the bounce. Watch how quickly she crosses over Montgomery, pulls up, does not over-penetrate, forces Crockett to come out, but Crockett can't get there fast enough. Great move by Oakley.
Coppin State down 8, riding a 21-game winning streak coming into this game. Suber guarded by Mel Thomas. Suber wanted that, you could tell from the catch. Thomas may have forced her into a bad one there. And here comes Montgomery.
And Thomas's job is not to let her get a 3. Force her into help off the dribble.
Strother with a nice pump fake to get Sherry Tucker in the air, and she finished with the jumper. 10-point lead. And Strother looking to make a move. She's 2 for 3 from the field, 7 points.
Everything for Coppin State is all on the perimeter, Mark. They don't even look to throw it inside to their post.
Yeah, Harden doesn't get many touches. Block from behind on Tucker. And the Huskies look on Thomas for 3. And Mel Thomas with her second three-pointer of the game, giving UConn a 13-point advantage.
In transition, a terrific time for Thomas to spot up.
Brown said that he wanted his team to be a little bit more methodical in the half court. He wanted to see more sets. That's what he told our Rebecca Lobo at halftime. And that's going to be a bump, a little blocking foul against Wilnette Crockett. Right now, they got 33 on the JOB, and they got Mel Thomas doing her thing too.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is presented by Orbitz.com. It's that easy. Orbitz and go.
Downtown College Avenue here in University Park, Pennsylvania. UConn leading by 13. NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbitz. Coppin State. During that winning streak of 21 games, no opponent has shot better than 41%. Tonight, UConn at 50.
That's because they're 4 for 5 to start the second half, so they're getting good looks and they're knocking them down.
There's Tucker. Now they look inside a little bit, trying to go a little high-low.
You know, it would help set up their perimeter game if they would get some touches on the block, force the defense to collapse a little.
And Tanisha Harden, the 6'3" freshman out of Camden, New Jersey, 0-0 there. Hasn't touched the ball but a couple of times the entire game. Oakley goes to the free throw line on the foul on the shot.
They're such a perimeter guard-oriented team.
NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbitz continuing on ESPN2 tomorrow night with second-round regional games. At 7 Eastern, you'll see a number of games. Don't forget to call the ones that are available in your area. Call your cable company or check on to ESPN.com, keyword coverage maps.
Coppin State looking to get into some half-court defense.
Strother lets it fly, and Barbara Turner got the rebound, tried to feed Sharday Houston, who was just checked into the ball game. Houston had a big first half. Thomas off the inbound as we approach 14 minutes to play here in the second half. Winner of this game moves on, and Montgomery fouled on her foray to the bucket.
That's a sweet move right there by Montgomery. Just reads the defense.
Winner of this game gets Virginia Tech, who dismantled Missouri in the previous game. Turner misses, and Tucker clears. Oakley with a nice crossover. Goes glass.
Nice cross in transition. No one stops the basketball. You do the right thing. Oakley, take it all the way. Very few transition baskets for Coppin State. Connecticut has done a good job in getting back.
The lead is 10. Going to be a foul underneath against Coppin State. That's going to go against number 21, Talia Sutton. Isha Soignier comes in for Renee Montgomery now.
Sutton's the vocal leader for Coppin State. Missed the first 9 games this season when they went 1 for 9. They haven't lost since she's been in the lineup.
Here's Thomas from downtown, and she has her third three-pointer.
Just great spacing, unselfish play. Thomas, when she gets her feet set, she can really fill it up.
Things started off well early in the season for Mel Thomas. She was the MVP of the preseason WNIT. There's Suber trying to get a little get back and can't. It's one and done, and still no touches for Harden inside. Strada with the pull-up, fading away, knocks it down, and the lead is now up to 15 points for UConn.
At 6'3", Ann Strother can do so much on the offensive end with 9 points. She gives them an inside-outside presence offensively.
Super still not shy. Went glass that time.
You know, Mark, I really like when Connecticut goes small. They experimented with that lineup a lot this season, and even their post players.
Oh, great ball movement and one for Barb Turner, Debbie.
Even their post players at 6'1", 6'2" can handle the basketball. Makes their offense more fluid when you have bigs that can step away and be able to pass. Look at Sharday Houston. This is what I'm talking about. Great basket cut by Strother. Unselfish interior passing.
And UConn has stepped on the accelerator and burning rubber on Coppin State. Turner with 21 when we come back. UConn leading by 17 points with 12:27 to go here in the second half. And the Huskies getting a great night out of Barb Turner, who is closing in on a career high. Right now she's got 21. And not only that, Barb Turner with 5 rebounds and 5 assists as well.
I've been impressed with her efficiency, the economy to her game. 25 minutes, 21 points. She's 6 for 9 from the floor. She's 9 for 10 at the line. She's getting ready to add to that.
This all goes back perhaps to the meeting that the senior class had with head coach Dino Oriema. You mentioned it a little bit earlier in the show, talking about how the seniors wanted to be held accountable.
Oh, Ann Strother said it was a 4-hour meeting with Coach Oriema. I said, 4 hours? She said, yeah, Coach can talk. I said, I bet he can.
I don't get that. They call the meeting, but he does the talking.
Right.
Okay. There's Thomas.
Oh, when you work so hard, you have such a strong tradition like Connecticut has. The expectations are very high. You know, they've set the bar in a very high place when March rolls around.
Yeah, in hunt of their 6th national championship. Thomas trying to help out, that time missing. And Coppin State comes up with a loose ball. Here's Oakley, on the move. Had it blocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Coppin State.
Again, Turner filling up the stat sheet, Mark, getting a block there.
The beat goes on for Barb Turner and UConn. We're going to take a break. Come right back on the other side.
So here, time for our Pontiac game-changing performance of round 1 of the tournament. And since this dunk by Candace Parker sparked a 24-2 run for Tennessee over Army, pretty easy call here. For the honor, Pontiac will award $5,000 to the General Scholarship Fund at Tennessee. We'll hand out each one of these each round of the tournament. Mark Jones, how you living?
Living XL just like UConn right now, leading by 17 points. And I think Pontiac should step up with 5 Gs for each of Candace Parker's subsequent dunks to come.
How about that? Yeah, they were sweet.
2 sticks on the day. That second one in the half court without a dribble. Really impressive.
A little give and go, a little backdoor cut. Just dropped it. For Parker, no dribble and a dunk on the baseline. Out of the half-court set. You gotta love that.
Swanier had it knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Husky basketball. Been a world of difference in the second half for UConn, and it all started at the end of the first half when they started going inside and Gino Auriemma drawing some stuff up for Sade Houston to free her up.
He's saying Coppin State might have the best field goal percentage defense, but we're taking it right at them. And what they've done is they put their bigs inside. They've been aggressive at attacking. They've been on the boards.
Whitney Hunter, meanwhile, Debbie, with that last basket. It's a 19-point lead. Tucker with the miss, a little bit strong. And that's one of the rare touches that Harden's gotten, albeit off a rebound for Coppin State. That's just the way that they're wired, though, Debbie. That's just the way that they're built. They're a perimeter-oriented team.
Well, post touches will help open up their perimeter game. You have to respect their post play inside, and you have to guard them.
Nice pull at that time by Jennifer Martin to knock it down. As we approach the midway point here in the second half. UConn looking for their 6th national title. Mel Thomas driving baseline, and Mel Thomas showing another dimension to her game, mostly known as a spot-up jump shooter. That time taking advantage on the drive. And folks, don't forget the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbitz continues on ESPN2 tomorrow night, 2nd round regional action. Baylor, the defending champs, taking on New Mexico, one of the 4 games you'll see in regional action. And then DePaul, one of the 4 games that you'll see as well, taking on Tulsa. Mel Thomas with 9 points now. Mel Thomas out of Cincinnati, Ohio, a 5'9" sophomore.
Gino Auriemma says she looks like the kid next door, but then she is just tenacious when she steps between the lines. Most improved player in the Big East this year.
A lot of that, Debbie, has to do with just her basic health, as Thomas now takes a well-deserved rest on the bench. Last season, she had a preseason ankle injury. After that, a broken nose. Lost her confidence, was never the same.
She really worked in the offseason. She spent a lot of time in the gym to get her game up to par. And she was forced to play out of position some last year, and that was tough to have to be the point guard.
That problem solved when Renee Montgomery stepped into the lineup for UConn. And Harden got ripped. 3-on-1 for Montgomery. And UConn making it look like a layup drill now, leading by 21 points. So Coppin State's 21-game winning streak in peril right now in a big way.
This is the tempo-changing backcourt for Connecticut that I love when Montgomery and Swanier are on the floor together.
And Sharday Houston, Debbie, got fouled, and she'll get a trip to the free throw line. Sharday Houston out of San Diego, California, a 6'1" sophomore. Started off struggling because of a foot injury. And Gino Auriemma said at the start of the year, spoke with him back in December, he expected big things from her this year. At times she has produced, at other times she has made the coach pull his hair out.
Well, I'm talking to Gino Auriemma yesterday. He's still counting on Sharday Houston, particularly this time of year. She is tough to defend because she can take bigs away from the basket, and when you put a small player on her, she can do that, invert to the block. Strong and powerful, great quickness, and could be a dominant offensive player in this tournament.
A real, kind of like I said, perplexing player, enigmatic at times.
Well, frustrating is another way of saying it in terms of her ability to, Gino Auriemma says she doesn't know the plays. She's got to, continue to work and let her teammates help her find where she needs to be. And she can score, so why wouldn't you want to get her the basketball?
That time she came up a little bit short off a nice pass from Swanier. And Strother fouls, and for more on Sharday Houston, let's go to Rebecca.
But guys, as talented as Sharday Houston is, she's been plagued by the inconsistency this season. She told me that her struggles on offense come when she second guesses herself, when she has the ball in her hands and wonders whether or not to make a move. She is most effective when she plays on instinct. She said she gets frustrated when she knows she has the ability to do great things and messes up. Coach Auriemma has told Sharday that when she plays well, UConn wins. Sharday said that she knows what she's capable of doing, and now she just has to do it.
She certainly can bring a big game offensively in the big games. We mentioned before her 22 and 15 against LSU. She had 19 against Tennessee. She had 22 against Oklahoma in the WNIT finals.
Loves the big stage. Those opponents that you just mentioned were all top 10 teams. At one point anyway, top ranked teams. And Connecticut turns it over for one of the few times here in the second half.
That was Oakley doing a nice job defensive faking at Montgomery and forcing a turnover.
That's their first turnover of the second half. And if you look at one of the differences in Coppin State here in the second half is Rashida Suba has been very quiet. She has the ball right now working on Swanier. And she may have heard me a little bit. That's her first field goal of the second half.
Good call, Mark. Off the made basket, trying to get in some half-court pressure. Connecticut having no problem handling it, still having plenty of time on the shot clock.
Swanier in the wing, and that's going to be a foul against Coppin State, as Barb Turner took a big hit. Talia Sutton going to be called for the foul. That's her second team foul and the team's 7th foul. So Barb Turner will pad her stats some more at the line.
Trying to be physical on the inside, Sutton, and not allow Turner the open flash to the basketball. Sutton, we mentioned before, not playing the first 9 games, and Coppin State went 1-8 in those games. They haven't lost since she's been in the lineup. She had to have surgery because she had turf toe. So she had surgery in September. Last year she played the whole year, did Sutton, without or with the injury. And they tried to rest it over the course of the summer, and it didn't work. She eventually had to have surgery, and that's why she missed those 9 games.
And Derek Brown now alludes to her as the glue of this Coppin State team. A lot of the things that she does don't show up on the stat sheet, averaging just 4 points a game, but she's a key part of their success as it coincides with their 21-game winning streak. Here's Swanier in transition, working in tandem with Montgomery. Jump shot a little bit strong. It'll be Coppin State basketball. With 7:54, the winner of this game moves on to the next round, and they will take on Virginia Tech.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by Pontiac. Vote for this round's Pontiac game-changing performance at ncaasports.com/Pontiac.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Bryce Jordan Sayre on the campus of Penn State University. Take a look at our brackets. The winner of this one moves on to play Virginia Tech. And the last time Virginia Tech and UConn met was March 7th, 2004. UConn won the game. Very low-scoring contest, 48-34, part of the Big East tournament play. That's what looms ahead should UConn, barring a major meltdown, move on. Oakley tried to feed it inside and got stripped.
Great defense by Montgomery. Very active on the basketball.
Barb Turner out top. Turner has put in a good night's work. 23 points, the game's leading scorer. Swanier outside. 10 on the shot clock for the Huskies. Crockett wide open underneath on a great feed from Strother.
She had 6'3" on the perimeter. Strother can see over the top of her defender and makes a great look cross court on the diagonal.
22-point lead. Little pull-up from Sutton. And here comes Montgomery.
Right now, Coppin State without Sherry Tucker, their leading scorer and player of the year on the floor. It'll be tough for them to come back. Great look.
And a backdoor cut by Strother.
That's working without the basketball. Tremendous basket cut. Backdoor by Ann Strother.
Always important if you're one of the top 2 seeds in your region to come out and have that solid first game. It kind of puts you on solid footing for the rest of the tournament, don't you think?
I think so, and I thought Maryland did that today as well when they took on Sacred Heart, another 2 seed taking on a 15. Get rid of the jitters, get ready to move forward, survive and advance.
Suber knocked down the jump shot at the other end. Under 6 minutes to play. Good defense on Swanier, a little too aggressive. The blocking foul called against Rashida Suber.
Ann Strother work without the basketball. Good feed from the top by Crockett.
And Strother with a great recruitment process as a freshman, as a senior actually in high school. Pat Summit out of Tennessee recruited her, had T-shirts made with Strother's baby picture on it. All the Lady Vols players wore it on her visit, and then the PA announcer at a Pac Thompson Bowling Arena announced her name, and that didn't work. Andy Landers at Georgia recruited her as well. Planted a pink flamingo in her yard in Castle Rock, Colorado, to give her an idea of what it would be like in Athens. And Gino Auriemma eventually winning out over everybody. I'm not sure what his hook was, but it worked.
I don't know if he needed a hook.
Come here and you can win national championships, right? It's the old recruiting line that says, if you come here, you'll win a title. If you don't come, we'll still win a title. For live stats and game recaps from all rounds of every championship, go to NCAAsports.com. NCAAsports.com, the official online home of all 88 NCAA championships.
Connecticut playing at a much easier pace for them offensively. More fluid, better timing. Their spacing has been terrific. Reading the right angles.
You ever get a chance to ask Ann Strother? I'm kind of stuck on this. I'm going to belabor the point a little bit. Can a pink flamingo survive in Colorado?
You know, I don't know. I live in the South. I don't get that.
I don't dig it either. Maybe that's why she never went to Athens, Georgia. Who knows? Back the other way, it's Shalimar Oakley. Blocked by Wilmette Crockett. Let's go courtside to Rebecca.
Well, Mark, from my experience anyway, Coach Auriemma's recruiting pitch is that if you come here and you're good enough, then you might play for me.
That's all it takes, huh?
That's basically it.
He doesn't promise anything, does he?
Absolutely nothing.
No T-shirts with baby pictures, no pink flamingos in your yard, just a promise of a solid program and a great education, I guess. So, Rebecca, nothing like that with you, huh? I'm kind of disappointed.
Rebecca's a scholar, though. Maybe he took her to the library or something like that on a recruiting visit.
Rebecca, come clean with us now. Come on, we need to know.
A pink flamingo might have done it for me, actually. just something. Does that count as a gift? Trying to entice a player to come to your school?
Maybe he was trying to tell them about their agricultural or botanical program down in Georgia. Who knows? I'm stretching right now, folks. Connecticut, very efficient from the free throw line, 21 to 25. And when that Crockett knocks down another one, Gino Auriemma likes to joke with Crockett, saying, why don't you just go meet us in March? That's usually the time of year where she really plays well.
He said, like pitchers, send them in advance. He was thinking about sending her to Boston. That's what he was referring to when he said to go ahead and ship her north. Well, again, another senior. We've talked about it all game. Sense of urgency, want to be held accountable. This is their team.
Well, they've certainly set a very good and positive tenor here for the rest of the tournament. Last year, UConn knocked out in the round of 16. And you would think that for UConn, a little bit of something to prove in the respect that, yeah, they won the 3 titles with Dinah Taurasi, but now DT is gone. What can they do without her?
Well, I talked to Gino Auriemma about that yesterday, and he said, you have to be organized in your system to be able to get to the NCAA in advance, but your system can't make plays. Players have to make plays. Now, you don't have a Dinah Taurasi, but you certainly have enough balance in your offense and enough weapons that you have people and personnel and positions that can make plays if they stick to the system. But the system's not going to win it. He said it's going to be about the players making the plays.
Gino Auriemma with his 5 national championships, backdoor pass to Larkins. Gino has always been a little bit more intuitive than a qualitative coach. Oakley got fouled on the fast break. And you kind of saw that today when saw a few new wrinkles in their offense. He looks a little frustrated. You never know that his team was up 71 to 47 with just under 4 minutes to go. We go back to Trey in the studio.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. Check in on Texas A&M and TCU. A&M trying to avoid being the third 6 seed to lose to an 11 seed. Takia Starks with the 3 there. They've cut into a TCU, though still leading, despite not having their top scorer and rebounder. Ohio State having fun with Oakland. USC up on 2 by South Florida. Back with more after this.
UConn, the number 2 seed in the Bridgeport region. First round action leading Coppin State with 3:58 to go in the second half. And Connecticut still one of the dominant programs across the nation with 5 national championships. Elamar Oakley knocks down the first of a couple foul shots, shooting 76% on the season. She has 16 in the game tonight.
Mark, is Connecticut coming into the NCAA tournament this year kind of under the radar? Nobody seems to be talking about them. They're not a number 1 seed. They're not defending the national championship, and that's the way they've entered the tournament the last several years. I don't know how you can't talk about Connecticut when March rolls around.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk. Catching a lot of vibes about Carolina, Rutgers. Foul inside as Crockett went up for the hoop.
When you think about their 4 losses this year, they're all in the Cleveland Regional, and they would not meet any of those teams unless they made it to the Final 4. That would be North Carolina and Tennessee and Rutgers twice. That's the 4 losses for Connecticut this year. All the talk is about the Cleveland Regional. And they're going to get a chance to go to Bridgeport. This is the first time in the history of their program that they played the NCAA tournament first round, second round games outside of the state of Connecticut. Sometimes that can be an advantage. You go on a neutral court. You don't have to deal with all the pressures of being at home, tickets and all that stuff that goes with it.
With that matchup coming up against Virginia Tech, keep in mind that Virginia Tech has not lost to a non-conference opponent this year. Playing a very tough ACC schedule.
Right, and their losses as of late have been to Duke and North Carolina. Duke twice in North Carolina.
Oakley out top. Partially blocked by Montgomery. Oakley took it right back. Suba. That's going to be a holding foul against UConn. Number 32, Glenna Green. The 5'10" freshman from St. Stephen, South Carolina. I asked Green earlier this year, where exactly is St. Stephen, South Carolina? Now, you're from the area.
Yeah, well,
you don't count because you know, but she said, Mark, you can't even find it on MapQuest. Well, where is it then?
It's down there by Charleston, South Carolina, down that way.
Well, you got to narrow it down more than that for me.
Well,
how many stoplights? Not that
it's
many.
down. No, yeah. Well, she's a solid player. Gino Auriemma said the best finisher around the bucket. And he said his 3 challenges this year were Sharday Houston, getting her in the offense, getting her comfortable, Renee Montgomery getting her to run the offense, and then finding a way to get Kalana Green minutes and finding a way to keep her productive. Look at her athleticism in her body. I mean, she is going to be a really good player at Connecticut.
On cue, Green a little bit strong on the jumper, tip to Sharday Houston. And they'll run a little bit more half-court offense with 2:42 to go in the second half. UConn in control. Bob Turner, the game's high scorer, getting a well-deserved rest on the bench, and with a foul called against UConn, an offensive foul.
Well, I love the way Turner showed up to play both ends of the floor. She was aggressive. She got to the free throw line herself more than the entire Coppin State team. He really played with strong instincts around the bucket to score, looking for her own offense.
23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Rashida Suber outside. This one might be going up. Or maybe the next time she touches it. Foul's going to be against Sharday Houston. And Barbara Turner is our Powerade player of the game with those impressive lofty stats. 23, 5, and 5. The senior, one of 4 of them on this UConn roster.
Well, she filled up the right side of the box score tonight. Assists, steals, blocks. Did a little bit of everything. That's a senior playing with some urgency, understanding what it takes because they've been there. She and Strother.
Looking perhaps for one more championship before they leave the campus on steroids. Nisha Harden knocks down the free throw. Approaching 2 minutes to play here. The winner of this one, which will be UConn, going on to play Virginia Tech in the Bridgeport region. Virginia Tech winning earlier tonight, manhandling Missouri out of the Big 12.
Playing the best I've seen Virginia Tech play all season.
That's going to be a traveling call against Nicole Wolf. I'm not sure that it's going to be all that easy, as easy as some people might think, against Virginia Tech.
You know what's going to happen is going to be a quarter-court game. Both teams are going to struggle to get transition baskets. It's going to end up being a slugfest. Who can execute the best on the offensive end?
We'll see that game on Tuesday night.
Connecticut has won 8 straight against Virginia Tech.
Suber off the mark. There's a look at it, 8 straight. But as I mentioned, Virginia Tech has not lost to a non-conference opponent this year. Crockett inside on the block. Christian from outside, and Crockett has her back with the rebound. And Gino Auriemma will call a timeout to get a couple of players in the ballgame. Coppin State going to see their 21-game winning streak followed by the boards here. And UConn has been a paragon of dominance throughout the years under Gino Auriemma. But the landscape changing a little bit this year with a lot of talk coming out of the ACC, led by North Carolina and Maryland, the powerhouse as well.
Duke,
Duke,
number 1 or 2
by the way,
all season. And Connecticut was not ranked #1 at all this year, and that's something else that might put them under the radar.
NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbitz continues on ESPN2 Tuesday night. Second round regional games. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, continuing at 9 Eastern. Check local listings or log on to ESPN.com. Keyword coverage maps for the game in your area. ESPN, your exclusive home for the Women's NCAA Championship.
You got to remember, in the first half here, Coppin State led the basketball game for about 4 minutes. So Connecticut had to show some character there, a little toughness in the first half. They were challenged early.
Yeah, this was a test. I mean, the final margin might be a little bit deceiving.
I think that's the way you want them, or I don't think you want to just blow people away. You got to get ready to take the next steps, and the next steps are always going to be harder in March.
Less than a minute to play now. This game turned in the opening moments of the second half. Bank shot good. As Williams comes in and knocks down the jumper.
What a great year for Coppin State. Undefeated in their conference. Only 3 other teams did that all season in Division I. Rutgers being one of them out of the Big East. Oklahoma the other. UT Chattanooga.
Boy, Keisha Swanier is quicker than Gossett. I mean, that is fast. Baseline to baseline. Lead up to 23 points. And you mentioned Coppin State. Yeah, you can't say enough about the way they were able to bounce back after a 1-8 start. The champs of the MEAC will see their 21-game winning streak come to an end as UConn prevails 77-54, advancing to Tuesday night's run against Virginia Tech. Gino Auriemma's crew improving to 29-4 on the season. Make that 30-4 on the season. And another 30-plus win season for the Huskies. Up next, a date with Virginia Tech. They've defeated them 8 consecutive times. For Deb Antonelli, Rebecca Lobo, and our entire crew, I'm Mark Jones. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good night from University Park.